Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we are back once again with True Hill Heat 79. On this
Woo!
edition of True Hill Heat, we got a lot to unpack. It was, as they call, one of the worst press weeks when it comes to WWE. Bad press all along as they had a positive COVID test as well as a lawsuit with Saudi Arabia related. We will also be discussing week 35 of the Wednesday Night Wars. We'll also be deciding and discussing what may have been the greatest wrestling match ever at WWE Backlash, and we will give you our collective top 10 best AEW matches of year one. So I am back once again with the princess of all the true heels, Miss Chrissy Love.
Hello, peeps. What's going on out there? Thank you. Woo!
Representing, and we got the trim fit, the fresh cut, Mr. True Heel resident alcoholic, top guy JJ.
Fresh watermelons.
Fresh watermelons this week, and we have a very special guest host with us, one of the OGs of the True Heels.
Oh,
This is
geez.
somebody I met way back when in 2011 at ROH Final Battle 2011 that was main evented by Eddie Edwards versus Davey Richards. He was drunk and he met my drunk roommate, and we've been friends ever since. He is the Connecticut or East Coast version of Brandon Cutler because he has a bald head, a goatee, and he is a young Bucks mark. He is the man, Mike Martin.
Thank you for that
What an
lovely
introduction.
introduction.
Right?
Thank you.
Let's give him a hand clap, guys. Burr, 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 burr.
Salud.
Yes, welcome to the podcast. How you feeling, good brother?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm great to be here. Wish it was in person, but hey, this is better than nothing.
Absolutely, and we are glad to have you. You are a true blood AEW fan since day one, so you are the perfect person to have on as we give our top 10 best AEW matches of year one. But before we get into anything, this is a reminder to you, the viewers. Push that like button. You can share this video and the iCard down at the bottom. You can push that to subscribe and the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on True Hill Heat. And I got to represent this right here. This is my Chad Gaspar shirt.
Oh, you wore yours today? Nah, you should have told me. I would have worn mine again.
Well, Mr. Mike, he's actually the one that gifted this to me. He sent
Oh,
the
nice.
delivery to me. I had to represent for
Thank
Chad as well as for Mike, so I appreciate him gifting me this as a new father. I appreciate that.
Nice,
For
nice,
one of
nice.
the hero fathers in the world at Chad Gaspar.
Yep.
That
So,
is 100%.
Oh, wait. Happy early Father's Day, friend. And
you.
JJ.
Hey,
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Thank
Appreciate
you.
I might be a
Thank you.
father. I just don't know. So let's
Oh,
hope I'm not. But
Well, you know.
And as long as you know who the potential mother is.
It's as long as it's down to like a list of 2 or 3.
yeah,
All right.
as long as she has me down to a list of 2 or 3, that's the most important part.
Maury, right?
So, like Mike, we got to shout out a bunch of our supporters. Mike's been supporting us since we started this whole True Hills, and that's why he's on the podcast with us. But we also got to shout out you, the viewers and supporters of True Hills and True Hill Heat. So, first of all, we got to shout out our top 3 conversation starters. Coming in at number 3 of the True Hill Trinity is our New Japan aficionado, James Wims. Coming in at number 2 is the host of the Romeo Report, co-host of True Rewind, co-host of Wednesday Night Warriors. He is Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon. And coming in at number 1 once again is the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson.
My
Nice.
boy. My boy, the elite. You know what I mean?
The elite. Yes, if you're part of the elite, you get to be on True Hill Heat. So we always appreciate the support. So a couple of the other True Hills we got to shout out: Tom Carr, Kevin Michael Tardif, Sheldon Jones, Nicholas Martin, one of the OGs as well, Marcus Garvey, and then we got subscriber highlight. We got to shout out Matt Slam 13. BK Hinzo, who checked out our live stream this weekend for WWE Backlash as I went live for the greatest wrestling match ever, and Sala as well joined us for our live stream. So, of course, what we missed was WWE Backlash. And we have to ask the question to start off this edition of True Hill Heat for True Hill Heat 79, THH 79. Was Edge versus Randy Orton the greatest wrestling match ever? I'm going to start with you, our special guest, Mike Martin. Was it the greatest?
It was good. Now, I stopped watching WWE because I made sure to keep my word, with the exception of that match, because I was like, I got to see if this is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Wait. Why did you? What happened, friend? You have to give a backstory.
Okay. I wasn't happy the way they got rid of those wrestlers and the people, during the pandemic. When they're making the most money they've ever made, even with no live events for the rest of the year.
Correct.
They're still going to make the most money they ever had. They didn't have to do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even like half the people they got rid of. It wasn't the time. Especially when you have companies like ROH who are barely holding on, and they didn't release anyone because there's a couple people they should release, but they
they paid Alex Shelley for events that got canceled.
Yeah.
So that's ROH.
Yeah.
If ROH is setting a better example than WWE, then I agree with you.
Same when MLW didn't release anybody. So no one released anyone except for them. So
yeah, okay,
that's pretty much it.
But you thought the match was good on Sunday between Edge and Randy Orton.
I did. I didn't like the fact I heard that it was maybe filmed, certain scenes a couple times. That hurts it a little bit, but it was still a good match nonetheless.
How about you, Miss Chrissy Love?
I have to agree with our special guest today. I didn't think it was the greatest match. I thought it was good, and it was another long one, but good. I liked the ending. Very good. But other than that, it's not the greatest match ever. No. It was a good match. Something great for his number 2 match coming back. Put it like that.
Top guy JJ, how about you?
I mean, I think that was pretty obvious that we knew we weren't going to see the greatest wrestling match ever. I think we know that was happening. But I'm going out on a limb, and I will definitely say this was definitely the WWE main roster match of the year. Like, it was an excellent match between two very savvy veterans, and they really worked. Like, if WWE provided work rate like they provided for their matches, we'd be watching a lot more WWE. Because that work rate was amazing. The story was great. And I would say without stipulation, without any like special match, that was the best match that Randy Orton and Edge has ever had.
With each other? With each other or their individual best matches?
Period. Like with no stipulation, straight 1, 2, 3, best match they have performed in.
Together?
No,
or
individual. In general, for them.
I'm
going out on my limb because that's what
opinion.
I saw it. And I saw it. I was like, I don't remember seeing a match with no stipulation involved, with nothing happening, that performed this well.
He's right. The point of no stipulation, because all my good Randy Orton Edge matches all have stipulations. So
we discussed this on our the greatest pay-per-view roundtable ever as we reviewed WWE Backlash with myself, Josh, Romeo, and Drunk Guy JJ, and I said I can go out on that limb only halfway with you. It's probably the second greatest matches of any of either guy's career. The only match that I said is as great with no stipulation for Edge was his match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 24. And for Randy Orton, it was his match with Chris Benoit at SummerSlam 2004 when he became the youngest World Heavyweight Champion ever. So I would say that the Edge match for Orton is better than the Chris Benoit match, but I can't say the Orton match is better than that Taker match for Edge. But I definitely agree with Drunk Guy JJ on one point. I agree.
Who?
It was, huh?
Where's Drunk Guy JJ?
Oh, I know. I agree with.
You're gonna have to get them separate names. You're gonna stop messing up JJ name
I
now.
agree with both of them actually. I agree with Drunk Guy JJ and Top Guy JJ. They both agree it was the WWE main roster match of the year. So I am gonna go out on their limb with them, and I agree it was the WWE main roster match of the year. Just a little bit better than AJ versus Bryan and Drew versus Rollins.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think about the fact that, yes, like Mike mentioned earlier, it was a couple of reshoots and retakes of different spots of the match, and due to that, Edge has suffered a torn bicep, which will have him out for 6 to 8 months. So, Chrissy Love, what's your thoughts on it?
Just like, Jesus, you just got back. You on vacation now again? Like,
this isn't exactly a vacation.
I want to know.
I just want to understand. I just want to understand, like, you already knew, like, he just got back. This is his second match. You just couldn't be gentle with him. Like, it was a great match. I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. And if I was his wife, I'd be pissed at him. I'd have to kick Randy Orton's wife ass for the sake of it.
But you know what? Something very similar happened to Triple H when he came back to his full work matches. Like he tore his bicep the same way. Like he also tore a bicep and he was out for the remainder of the year too. It's like when you get a little bit older and you try to keep that physique up, you tend to a little bit more tears because you're not doing the activity as much.
Yeah. And also, Orton suffered an injury similar to that in 2008 when he came back from his injury.
Two things. I want to know, what was the purpose of the reshoots? Was it just to get those stupid camera angles, or was something actually messed up?
Was killing me.
And the other thing is, when Triple H tore his, it was in that during awful tag match with in Saudi Arabia with Shawn Michaels and against the Brothers Destruction. So that match was doomed.
They tore their arms, their ligaments, and their fucking ego.
The whole
and their masks.
The masks.
Exactly. Wigs fell off.
I wish Kane would throw that crap in the garbage and burn it. Like, we don't need you to do that, friend. We already know that you don't have black hair. You're the mayor now. Stop. Please.
If anything, Shawn Michaels should have put it on, so that way we could have got the old Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely. That match wouldn't have been so jarring to watch. But I kind of feel bad for, as like you guys said, like he just came back. So to suffer that torn bicep does hold him back a little bit. And we'll talk about how they followed up on that on Monday Night Raw. But also at WWE Backlash, Drew McIntyre defeated Lashley to defend the WWE Championship thanks to a distraction from Lana. What did you guys think about the WWE Championship match?
It was solid. I think it was solid. Like, it was solid. I mean, Lana's purpose just needs to be wherever there's not WWE cameras. Like she is like the worst thing on all three brands, and it's not even close.
I think Lana needs to be released just like Rusev was released. It's time for her to go. It's time, sis. I'm sorry. And I don't know what's worse, your hair color or your tan. I don't know which is worse, to be honest. I really couldn't.
She's no longer Russian.
And she hasn't been Russian in years, friend. Come on.
Exactly.
That's what made her an attraction. Now you're a regular ass civilian, and you're bland.
Very bland.
She ruined what could have been a very excellent match. She ruined it. Just her presence ruined the match.
Well, on Monday, Lana a Thought did trend on Twitter, so she is winning there. We also on Backlash, we had Braun Strowman beat Miz and Morrison to defend the WWE Universal title, as well as Sasha and Bayley defend the WWE Tag Team titles.
You will address her as Bayley Dos.
Dose straps or whatever.
Dose straps, whatever. You have to address it the right way, friend.
Nah, I'm good.
I would say Bayley as a role model.
Yes, absolutely. she is a role model and one of the best things.
This is Bayley's best gimmick right now. You kidding me? What? Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Freaking love it.
I have to ask you guys another question, our final question about WWE Backlash. What the fuck was the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders?
Mike, I want you to take this one.
Well, listen.
Or in a better question, to quote his esteemed co-host on Something to Wrestle With, who booked this shit, Bruce?
Here's the thing.
You got this, like...
I didn't watch it. I read the results. It was terrible. As I was fast forwarding to get to the greatest whatever
match ever, yeah.
I did see the tall ninja and everything. No.
I don't get it. I
didn't stop. I just kept going. So as I was fast forwarding. So.
Yo, I looked at this. My first, like, how, Sway? How? Like, how did this happen? How did this happen? Like, why did you just ruin like 20 minutes of my life? Like, and it was long. It was long.
Was it?
Like, oh my
it was
God.
Like 15 16 minutes.
And then what makes it worse is that it ended off with them becoming the Viking Prophets. Like, what?
I actually like that part from Monday
night. No, there was nothing.
Street Raiders is a way better name.
Absolutely. I agree.
Street Raiders are definitely better, yes. So are they going to all have red cups now in the Viking match? I'm so for it. I'm so ready for it. I think it's going to be so trash, but it's going to be so funny. Leg. Yes! I see it. It's so funny.
This could be the best faction since 3MB.
The worst angle of the worst thing of 2020 for WWE, and it is by a fucking landslide.
I don't know. WWE has a few candidates for either the most disgusting tactic or worse angles. Like, they got a few of them. Which we'll get to as we talk about Friday Night Smackdown. And on Friday Night Smackdown, it's a tale of two episodes, as we had AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan in what I would say was the best WWE TV match of 2020 or in quite some time, and a WWE Match of the Year candidate. And then, on the other end of the spectrum, we had Jeff Hardy throwing piss into Sheamus's face, which was censored on the West Coast feed, and apparently Fox was very unhappy with WWE for. So, Miss Chrissy Love, you cover SmackDown for us. What was your thoughts?
I do agree with you with the Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. No, not surprised with that at all. I don't know. I knew they're going to give us a great match, and we knew that AJ was going to win. However, this whole Jeff Hardy sobriety, going to take tests and things of that nature, it's really not necessary. It's really retarded and stupid. And yet again, it's just showing that they are dropping the ball with some of the people. Jeff Hardy, just go with Matt. Like, leave. We want you to leave, friend. We need you to leave and go join your brother. It's not working out. I don't know what it is that's keeping you here. I don't know what it is. You just want to be loyal like The Undertaker. I don't get it. I don't know. But I need you to leave, friend. I need you to go, because right now what they're making you do, and you're lost in the sauce, friend, and it's not working out. And you threw apple juice on someone. Like, that's not cool.
In a beer jar. Absolutely. Also, on Monday Night Raw, we had the return of WWE legend and former World Heavyweight Champion Christian, as he returned to be low-blowed by Ric Flair and punted in the head by Randy Orton in one of the most compelling...
I didn't understand it.
It was one of the most compelling angles on Raw in quite some time. Top Guy JJ, what was your thoughts on the return of Christian?
Randy Orton is the best thing on Monday nights right now. And Randy Orton, like, I literally look for the Randy Orton reactions.
That was great.
Like,
that part was
this is my living. This is my living. I'm so sorry, but this is my living, and I cannot let you disturb that. I cannot let you, like,
when he unfolded his legs, and no, I'm trying to help. Yo, Randy Orton is the best heel of 2020.
Yep.
Randy Orton is back right now. Randy Orton is back.
He got the spark again. So
yeah. He did,
also on Raw, Asuka beat Nia Jax with a fast count as they continue to protect Nia. Drew and R-Truth defend the WWE Championship versus MVP and Lashley getting the victory. And Raw, with that huge angle with Christian's return, got a 1.93 million rating on Nelson, and it was the highest since after WrestleMania. So finally, we're going to get into our top news and what many is calling one of the worst press weeks for WWE in quite some time.
Or just wrestling.
Yeah, in wrestling. Yeah, wrestling period probably. So it was revealed on Monday night that WWE had another positive COVID-19 test, leading to a company-wide testing this week. It was revealed shortly after Monday Night Raw this week that a developmental talent tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. The developmental talent was last seen at the Performance Center on Tuesday, June 9th. WWE did not reveal this information to any of their talent in the crowd on Monday until the press release went public. Wrestle Votes as well as Wrestle Talk reported that WWE had previously just been doing temperature checks, which in some cases certain WWE talent were allowed to still attend tapings with high temperatures for special circumstances. This past Tuesday, June 16th, WWE conducted their first full testing for the COVID-19 virus via legitimate nose swab on all talent and staff since the ongoing pandemic has started.
It only took them 4 months to do?
Three and change.
4, friends. 4.
Well, all the testing were via the nose swab, and there was a bit of a miscommunication early on as some disorganization led to talent and staff waiting hours for the test as well as its results. The delay on results led to the TV taping on Tuesday being 2 hours behind schedule and to several rewrites to television. This comes on the heels of WWE allowing a select number of fans at their TV tapings this week, which was an additional concern to the talent that were in the crowd. Several developmental talents revealed that they were not aware that non-WWE people would be invited to the taping, and WWE also invited friends and family of talent to the tapings this week, and on Tuesday offered free COVID testing for them. If they turned down the test, they would not be allowed to attend. And it was also conflicting reports regarding if WWE were not allowing fans and talent in the crowd to not wear masks. They were basically, Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer reported on Monday that his sources told him that WWE told people that if they wore masks on TV, they were not allowed to be on their TV taping. While John Alba on Twitter reports that multiple fans in attendance informed that they were not pressured to not wear masks. So all of these delays have led to a new schedule for the TV taping. June 26th, they'll be back to tape Smackdown, and they're going to tape all the way through July 22nd.
Wait, somehow. Yo, why are they just figuring out how to deal with COVID-19 right now?
They just, you know why? Vince McMahon is friends with Mr. Trump, and that's why they're in denial and they're stupid, and they don't understand how that this is a pandemic. Not only did you have the Street Profits dancing in the crowd with everybody on Monday night, like it was like a damn part. Like, no, friend, no one got masks on. No one is like, what's wrong with y'all?
And then it took a positive test for them to do company-wide testing.
Yeah, like, are you like
yo, like this is the most backwards ass shit. It's like it's fucking yo. Every company that has been on television, whether it's been NASCAR, whether it's been UFC, whether it's been freaking the Chinese baseball league, whether it's
they are so desperate to be like AEW right now. It's not even funny. Like, oh my god,
doing straight testing anyway.
Yeah.
The WWE is a fucking joke, yo.
And they are $1 billion. Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand. Like, why are you that incompetent? Like, why are you that stupid?
Well, you nailed it on the head with the whole Trump thing. He doesn't wear a mask. He doesn't think it's important. And then they don't think it's important. And then it's just...
And you know what's so sad is like someone released like the top like sports companies or sports people that like donate to him. And it's just like, it's my like son, like, dude, like you got I don't get it. Like, how do you guys support this man? You're lucky I have not like canceled my subscription because I love wrestling so much. But I'm about to be like you, friend, and just like stop watching them because I can't deal with stupidity at its finest.
Yo, WWE, they're remarkably stupid.
Yo, like beyond stupid.
It's remarkable how stupid
you might as
they
well
are.
have London and Bryson run the company yourself. They can definitely come, but you know what? I don't want them to come because they might get COVID, mess with their dumb asses.
Oh no, you won't even find out that they got COVID because they won't get tested.
So the biggest question I think out of all this, like I said, with the rewrites and all the delays, they're gonna have to go back to tape again on June 26th. So with knowing all of that and with the rewrites and the fact that WWE now has to come back on June 26th for another round of taping starting with next week's Smackdown, do you guys think that they're going to do another round of company-wide testing for everyone that attends, or are they just going to go back to their temperature checks and not doing their due diligence? Top guy JJ, you got the best facial expression.
Yo, any active business should be doing COVID testing. If you're an active company that is bringing people to work, that is going to be physical, y'all have to do testing. Like other places that is not doing testing, that is reporting to work, there is a social distancing guideline where you have to be 6 feet apart. These people are going to be physically next to each other. How the fuck are you not doing COVID testing? How the fuck is this not a mandatory thing? It is mind-boggling that we're fucking almost 4 months into this shit and they still don't got it. Like how, Sway? How?
It is definitely mind-boggling. Mike, what's your thoughts?
They're not. If they do, it's only because they know people are watching them. If they don't, it's because they don't care to. And that's pretty much it. Because I was saying before, the fact that they had Ric Flair there, like he didn't need to be there. They think it's like not big deal. And being in Florida where it's just rising and rising, it's just.
Ric Flair just had
Speak on it, friend. Speak on it.
It's terrible.
Ric Flair just had a heart attack.
Yeah.
That just had a heart attack. Yeah, that's the biggest. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense how negligent they've been. And so my next question for you, Chrissy, as far as being a parent as well, as like me, would you attend a WWE event now?
No time soon at all. No time soon. This is it's so sad how you guys have dropped the ball on so many people. Like you have so many people's lives in your hands, and it's just showing that you don't care. And I hope that people speak up about it. They probably won't, but I know that's their jobs and they need to get paid. Unemployment is an all-time high. And it's just sad on like how they dropped the ball on this. Like you could have been just like you could pay doctors to come in and look at people's injuries. I'm sure you had a staff doctor. I know you got the resources. Use it. Call your friend in the White House. He can send you a bunch of stuff.
They have free COVID testing.
Plus, Florida has so much testing. I guess they got an abundance of tests, so there's no excuse.
It's just pure ignorance.
Yes.
It's ignorance and negligence.
Yes.
So Chrissy Love talked about people speaking up. So that can take us to our next topic, which has to do with WWE Saudi Arabia TV negotiations lawsuit. As this bad press week for WWE continues, WrestleNomics has posted court documents from the lawsuit and filed by Firefighters Pension System of the City of Kansas City, Missouri Trust against former WWE co-presidents George A. Barrios and Michelle Wilson, along with Vince McMahon and the WWE, which claims that WWE misled investors about their TV deal to the Middle East and North Africa regions, as well as other aspects of their dealing in the region. The complaint has a former WWE talent as a confidential witness and says that WWE allegedly failed to disclose their TV deal with OSN and to the region being ended early when OSN began to struggle financially and became negligent, delinquent to the payments of rights fees. WWE sent OSN a notice of material breach on September of 2018, after which OSN shut down its sports channels as a cost-cutting measure and sought the early termination. OSN's general counsel informed WWE of their intent in November, and the two sides came to terms on a settlement on December 18th to allow OSN to end the deal on March 31st, 2019. This lawsuit has also revealed that WWE allegedly may have threatened talent for not performing in Saudi Arabia. So, what are your thoughts on this news of this lawsuit with the Saudi Arabia deal, and a lot of it coming out that with the incident that happened last year? In the court documents, it says that there allegedly was masked men with guns at the when the superstars were boarding last year at Crown Jewel 2019, which was the whole delay, which caused the WWE Smackdown superstars to not attend the event, which led to a whole NXT episode of Smackdown last year,
which was great.
It was fantastic. So WWE knows how to come up with fantastic things out of crazy shit like this. So apparently a lot of people believe that this confidential witness is one of the released WWE talents, which will have more information about what really went down on that day in Saudi Arabia, as well as Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows have said they will talk about it on their podcast. So Mike, start with you. What are your thoughts on this whole situation concerning the Saudi Arabia TV negotiations as well as the incident last year?
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I 100% believe that happened. Everything. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I wrote down here the two people I think is the whistleblower. It's either Rusev or Harper or Brody Lee, because if you look at that picture of them standing outside the airplane, I don't know if you've seen it, but Harper's look, like, I can't wait to tell a motherfucker about this.
I need to see that picture, man. I gotta see that picture. I gotta see it.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you. Yeah, they're all inside the plane and he's just looking like, yeah. So, as far as the TV deal, I mean, Vince pulling let's go up with the fact that he pulled the stream in the middle of the stream. I mean, that's, yeah. And notice he got his ass out of there. And if it wasn't for Brock, Flair and Hogan would have been sitting their asses there. He took them. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's
on his special private plane and left the rest of the roster behind, mind you.
Yes.
Except Brock Lesnar and Hulk Hogan and shit.
And yep.
Chrissy Love, what was your thoughts?
This is just another thing that's just sad. I can't wait to see this picture, but like, it's sad. Like he said, I'm sure it happened because Vince left everyone stranded, knowing that they had a taping the next following day, and could have had everyone on his nice plane waiting, and then flew back home. But like he said, I'm sure it happened, and it's just disgusting. Like, and I hope they do show themselves and show us the receipts and give the proof. We want to see it. We're ready for the tea. I want to know. I want to see everything now.
So Mike gave us Rusev and Luke Harper. Top guy JJ, who is your pick for the confidential witness?
I can't go against the Luke Harper one or the Brody Lee. I can't go against Brody Lee, man.
But, so what we will tell is that the confidential witness was an employee with WWE from the time of 2012 to 2019.
That's Brody Lee's and Rusev's entire tenure.
Yeah.
That's their entire tenure.
Yeah.
That's their entire tenure. And it's like, how so hold on. So when you make deals with terrorists, you don't think some shady shiesty shit is about to happen. They give you all of this blood money, and they give you all of this blood money. They give you what, $200 million to have a few shows there, and you don't think now you just gave up power to them? Like you just hear
you
thought that $200 million was just gonna come with just your appearance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm Vince McMahon. I'm the god of business.
No. I'm a friend of Donald Trump.
Yep.
And
well,
it's just yo. Somebody needs to take Vince McMahon
Mm.
and just take him on a school of life and history.
It won't work though. It won't work.
But
He's
but
just
but he ain't gonna get it. But at least it's like, yo,
He won't get
at
it.
least somebody in the world can say, I tried to educate this man. I try, and it's gonna come to no avail. But at least somebody said they try to get the word to him.
these are the same people that sent emails too, though, friend. Right? You know.
Send him an email. Yeah.
Let's not get back into that shit.
well, I'll tell you what that
Not get
$200
back
million
into that shit.
didn't bring. It didn't bring any good matches because there hasn't been a fucking good match in Saudi Arabia.
One.
Since the beginning that it started.
I forgot his name. Mansoor.
Not Mansoor.
Mansoor. Yeah.
In Claudio or Cesaro, that was okay.
He said Claudio.
Claudio. He calls him by his government. He calls him by.
Well, I call him by his ROH name. So
That's funny.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got to move on to week 35 of the. Well, I will actually one final question with you guys because Mike actually bring up a good point. He stopped watching due to how WWE, dealt with the firing of all those superstars on Black Wednesday. Now we got this lawsuit with Saudi Arabia as well as the positive COVID test and their complete negligence on dealing with this pandemic. Has this whole COVID-19 era exposed the WWE more than ever? I'll start with you, Miss Chrissy Love.
Okay, I've been upset with them for a minute now, especially during this whole thing that our country is going through right now. You sent an email, which was very disrespectful. You gave someone COVID. You gave it to them. There's nothing. You gave that to them. I read somewhere supposedly Kevin Owens has stopped coming to their shows and recording as well. He said he will not be a part of this. He's taking a page out of Sami Zayn's book and not showing up to fucking work. Because
best friend.
Hence, and this is why Sami Zayn was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna do this. Roman Reigns did it too. We should have
Roman Reigns was the pioneer.
He was
Roman Reigns had everything to lose. He gave up a main event at WrestleMania because he knew that they were negligent and they weren't doing what they had to do. Roman Reigns leaving makes so much sense now.
I hope The Rock got his daughter out of there too because she was in the crowd.
Nope, she was there on Monday.
Listen, again, I like I said, I was upset with them for sending emails. They're Mr. Trump's number one supporter. I am really at its wit's end with these people, and it's not for my love of wrestling, which keeps me here. But I'm slowly but surely I'm starting to now feel like I have to remove myself because I feel like you don't care. And if it shows that you don't care about your product, why am I watching?
They don't care about the product, their employees.
You don't care about nothing. Again, you gave this person COVID. You gave it to them. The whole thing in Saudi Arabia, you took a deal with these people who you know are corrupt. You know they're corrupt. But yet you still take their money. And you don't think that you're not sitting at the table with them? It's more and more where I have to reflect on myself as an adult. I'm like, I don't know if I can watch or be put more of myself into this brand. It's my love for it that keeps me there, but I it's slowly going away slowly.
It's tough. If it wasn't for these videos, sometimes I question why
I'm still
exactly. I'm still,
my God.
still watching the WWE, but they have definitely came up short when it comes to everything regarding this whole COVID-19 era as far as their due diligence. And then we will always get the number of fans that are WWE apologists and ask the question, oh, what about AEW? They had Jake the Snake Roberts and these people in the crowd. They got JR there in commentary. AEW does free COVID testing for everyone.
On being in the same state.
They showed the wristbands that they get COVID test as well as a temperature check before they're allowed in for the TV taping.
And they're doing double.
New Japan Pro Wrestling is the standard bearer when it comes to.
I heard they was cleaning down everything.
Down the ropes and the mats between every matchup. On their multi-man matchups, they did not allow the both guys on the outside of the ring to stand on the apron at the same time. They had one of the guys stand on the floor, the other guy stand on the apron to give them the social distancing. So all these organizations within your own business of professional wrestling, if you want to compare yourself to all the other ones, you talked about the Chinese baseball, Top Guy JJ. UFC has gone above and beyond with testing, and Dana has looked bad throughout this whole COVID-19 era, but even him has done his due diligence with testing their performers, keeping them in a bubble, quarantining them. Like, they don't even know where any of these people are going to go when they come back on June 26th. We're not even sure if they're going to do company-wide testing again on the 26th, and that just says so much wrong with the biggest organization in professional wrestling.
Yep.
I want to touch something you said about Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake has smoked so much crack where I think he's immune to COVID-19. So he's good to go.
You know what? That is a fact, friend. I have to agree with you there. I have to. He's a dinosaur. Like he's a dinosaur. Like,
and he wears his mask to the ring.
He had his mask on at the ring. Come on, like
AEW even gives every person there the choice that they can wear their masks on TV. There's no rumors about them pressuring anybody to not wear a mask on TV. So
especially the ringside guy, he's had a mask the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, the camera guys got masks on. So
like people have families. Like people are like they're not trying to come home with this. Like you don't you don't know how it's gonna affect your body. Like no one knows the outcome. No one wants to find out. No, that's it. I don't want to know. I don't. Like
I'm just gonna give a final thumbnail for me. Like if it wasn't for my love of wrestling for over 30 years, WWE would not be on my TV. And I've noticeably started to gravitate to really realize that I'm only watching Hard Body on Wednesdays. And I know NXT is WWE. We all know that. That's obvious.
Yeah.
But not to see is that Friday night SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. Like it feels different. And
I mean, let's get into that. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I know when we get there. Like it's
Wednesday. I don't know about that different feel.
Oh God, I know.
We gotta talk about week 35 of the Wednesday Night War. This is the
worst segue ever.
It sure is.
Time of the show where we break down WWE NXT as well as AEW Dynamite. We give you the highlights and each of us decide what was the better show for the week. You can also check out our official decider of what was the better show for the week, as it is Wednesday Night Warriors with Romeo and Chris G as they break down each and every segment from AEW Dynamite as well as WWE NXT and give you their choice for the better show, as well as you can join us on the True Hills group page and vote on our poll every single week to decide what was the better show. And this week you will be the deciding factor because Romeo and Chris G have picked two different shows. So check out Wednesday Night Warriors right now to find out who picked who. So we got to talk about the ratings first. So Chrissy, hit us with the drum. So for week 35 of the Wednesday Night War, it was AEW Dynamite with 772,000 viewers to WWE NXT with 746,000 viewers. Once again, AEW wins in the ratings war. They are now up. I believe it's now 30 weeks to five for NXT and one tie, or two ties, I believe. But yes.
I lost count a long time ago, friend.
Hey. I'm going to start to keep count of what we chose as the better show for the week. Maybe we'll keep track of that.
Okay.
On WWE NXT, we had Sasha and Bayley return to NXT as they defeated Tegan and Shotzi Blackheart. And then Io Shirai, the NXT Women's Champion, attacked both ladies to show them who runs NXT now. Imperium
Not necessary.
Imperium
really wasn't.
Let him finish the rundown because
Imperium defeated Breezango to defend the NXT Tag Team titles.
As they should.
The NXT Women's Division dominated this week as many different women were highlighted, and a huge lineup for next week NXT as it's headlined by Keith Lee defending the NXT North American title versus Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano in a triple threat match, with the winner versus Adam Cole on July 8th in a winner-takes-all match for both the NXT and NXT North American titles versus Week 2 of Fyter Fest, in case WWE didn't want you to know.
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite, highlighted by Best Friends defeating Le Sex Gods and Orange Cassidy attacking Chris Jericho in what I like to call the angle that I so wish the most had fans, as it set up the match of the summer, as it will be Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho at Fyter Fest. Omega and Hangman defeated the Natural Nightmares to defend the AEW tag team titles. The Young Bucks defeated the Super Bad Squad. Abaddon debuted for the AEW Women's Division in probably the most unique debut of anyone from the Women's Division in AEW. And Anna Jay is recruited for Dark Order. And the debut of Ricky Starks in a really, really good match of Wednesday night versus Cody for the TNT Championship. So we will start off with our special guest, Mike Martin. What was the better show for the week?
Well, since I don't watch NXT, since I stopped watching WWE, I'm going to say AEW all the way. And I know we're on this topic. As we were talking before, it was really hard for me as a fan of WWE or WWF since 1985 to stop watching, but I did do that. So, yeah, so AEW.
Do you feel any certain kind of way?
No. What did you like about Dynamite this week?
Well, I did like, even though it was a little sloppy here and there, but I like the Kenny Omega page against the Nightmares. You know, I'm not a fan of QT Marshall, but he brought it, so it was good. And then that girl debuting, I thought was amazing. I followed her on Twitter immediately, and I told her her fucking look is fucking amazing, and she actually liked the tweet. So
nice.
Yes.
Love it. Gotta love it. He's like, brush your shoulder off. Miss Chrissy, what was the better show for the week for you?
AEW for sure. We didn't need EO coming out at the. We already know you won. You won. Like, we don't need to know that you are running the show. Like, not necessary. Didn't know that I wanted to see Orange versus Chris Jericho. I didn't know that I wanted to see that.
It's the number one match that everyone didn't know they wanted to see, that they want to see so bad now.
Right. I want to see him. I want to see him kick Chris Jericho's legs with his hands in his pockets. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait for that. MJF is gotta be he reminds me of Ted DiBiase with Virgil, as you know, homeboy is Virgil, but he just has that old school like physique and like that. He gives me the attitude that Ted DiBiase used to give back in the day. I feel that from him. He's like the young modernized one. If I can compare him to, like, I freaking love him. I didn't even know I loved him. Because now I'm like migrating more onto AEW, and I'm just like, it just has better matches. It's like, and it's like every week is like someone different that they like elevate on the show. If I'm saying that correctly.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like AEW and every week is not the same. I feel like every week is different. It's not the same thing that we're gonna get when we watch NXT, SmackDown, Raw. I feel like, even like with NXT last night, they had little skits in there. I'm like, it's not really needed. I mean, it could be funny. That's great. But like, we don't need that. We're fans. We're watching the product for a reason. Like, we don't have to treat us like we're stupid. Like, we already know that the whole like skit that the Oh my God, what is his name? Jesus, why am I drawing a blank? Oh,
Robert Stone.
yes, he can't go. He can't see cars now. That's okay. Cool. However, we already know that that's your partner with the damn wig and a mask on. Like, you don't know that.
Oh, you're talking about Breezango?
No, I am talking about the Oh, forget it. Never mind. I can't remember. I smoke too much weed. It's okay.
I've been thinking about NXT makes you think like that. Just ask Chris G.
Oh, you know what else I'm very upset about? Why are they making the men? Oh my God, I love him so much. Why are they making him want to be like stalker to
Velveteen Dream.
Yes. What? Oh my God. What? He looked like a creep coming and putting a picture there with them being attacked. I was like, no, we can't. Don't do that. No.
Don't do that, friend. Top Guy JJ, what was the better show for the week?
I'm going to just start off. It was AEW, and it's not even close. This might have been the worst NXT episode of the year. NXT Damn. Throws me on such a fucking whim every week. and it doesn't make sense. Like when the best thing that happened on the NXT show was William Regal's face coming up on a Titan trying to announce all the shit that's happening in the next 2 weeks. There's something wrong with your fucking program. There's something wrong with the shit that is going on in NXT. Like there was the most unnecessary. Like why? Like the show closes out with Io Shirai attacking Banks and Bailey on a show they don't belong on. So like what's the fucking point? And then this unnecessary pairing of the Velveteen Dream, which we've been clamoring to get off of NXT television, and then you pair him up with Dexter Lumis. Like this shit is bad all over the place. Like it's bad everywhere. And
I could have thought Dexter Lumis and Karrion Kross were supposed to be like the next big things, and they just ruining them. Just ruin it.
I don't
think they ruined Karrion Kross yet.
I don't. Well, yeah, no. Karrion Kross is the only thing the only thing they got going, and I don't want to spend that much time on NXT because they make me sick. AEW knows every week, like, and we talk every week, somebody else comes through and that debut of Ricky Starks was fucking amazing. Like, oh yeah, I was hoping that he would have been one of the dudes that come through from NWA, like from NWA, and it was like, oh my God, like to see that, and then he had an actually really good match with Cody, which was really good, and then my God, like every time, like Orange Cassidy is the king of giving you what you didn't know you wanted until he gives it to you. He's the king of it. He's the king of it. Like we didn't know how bad we wanted the match with him and Pac until we saw them pair up together, and then they give us like one of the AEW's best matches. Yep. And every time this man steps into a facility, like you are just gravitated on. You're just stuck on.
I need someone to send me a shirt. I need one. I need one now.
And the fact that he came out and he actually turned into a badass for like 3 minutes, and then became cool again.
Right.
And then the best friend ends up the night and gives him the best friend hug.
And then the Okada angle.
I put out the tweet. That ending to AEW made me smile on the inside. For Chucky T, the guy who used to be on all the PWG doing the commentary, for him to end off Dynamite there, and Trent Beretta for everything that happened with him in WWE and then his time in New Japan, being with Roppongi Vice, like to see that ending. And I just have to ask this question before I'll give my better show for the week. Is Orange Cassidy the hottest star of 2020? Is he like the wrestling star of 2020?
Yep.
Yeah, he would have to be.
He is definitely a dark horse for that right there.
Absolutely. I didn't. Yeah.
He's definitely a dark horse for that. And I just want before, like, I have started to grow more and more on QT Marshall. Like QT Marshall is delivering more and more every week that he's in there, and that match that the Natural Nightmares had with Hangman and Omega was really good. Like it just seems like they just know how to highlight different talent every week. And then we get Io Shirai attacking the tag team champions of WWE.
Well, I on my thoughts on the show, what I thought was the better show for the week, I'm gonna make it unanimous, and I'm gonna go with AEW Dynamite as the better show this week. I did like NXT though. I felt like the tag team title match was pretty good.
Yeah, that was great.
It just turned into a complete clusterfuck at the end.
Yep.
And then I really love the women's tag team title match. That was one of the best main events on NXT in quite some time.
Yes, they deliver.
I will be the minority here, and I enjoy the Io Shirai ending because it was another cliffhanger ending for NXT where you wanted to know how they're going to follow up with it. And are we going to get Io versus Bayley? Are we going to get Io versus Sasha? Or are we going to get Io with a tag team partner versus both of them? We don't know.
Smackdown?
We don't know how they're going to follow up with it. So I am interested in that. And I absolutely love the Undisputed Therapy with
there you go. Thank you.
Kyle Rowley as the therapist. That was funny with Roderick Strong with his fast feet. That was great. I even enjoyed the biggest logic hole of last week, which was Santos Escobar. I enjoyed his segment and him taking out Drake Maverick. That was fun. But that Robert Stone segment, that's when I was just like, yo, Vince finally realized that they've been losing all these weeks on television, and he was like, I need some input on NXT. Then we had the revolving door promo that was Adam Cole comes out. After Adam Cole had just been on 2 straight segments, he comes out for an interview. Then Keith Lee, who just interrupted him on the last segment, comes out after him. Then Johnny Gargano. Then Finn Balor. I felt like I was watching Raw or SmackDown. Yeah. And then the authority figure pops up on the screen to make a judgment, and he gives us a hot shot angle of the NXT North American and NXT title in a winner-takes-all match on, guess what? The same week as Fyter Fest. I was like, this is just so obvious that you're trying to compete with them, and this makes you look bad because you're the bigger promotion here. Like, it just makes you look bad.
But it just shows that they're watching and they're trying to steal from them.
Mike, you ain't missing nothing, bro.
In the best competition, you have to run your race, and that's what AEW is doing. The tag title match was good. It kept along the angle that's going on with the Natural Nightmares, as well as made Omega and Hangman look good. I love the Ricky Starks match with Cody, and very congratulations to Ricky on getting signed by AEW due to that match. Because he was one of the top free agents out there. So the fact that AEW locked him in was great. I like the Young Bucks versus Super Bad Squad. I even did MJF versus Billy. Like everybody has a purpose to what's going on. And like Mike, I loved Abaddon's debut. Debut. That was like the most unique thing that has happened to the women's division. But when we talk about the women's division,
those fucking contacts are...
They were crazy. AEW highlighted so many people. You had the new people with Abaddon and Ricky Starks. But the MVP of the episode of Wednesday night was once again Dr. Goat Baker. Once again, the MVP of Wednesday night. She's simply hilarious. Just a little exchange between her and Reba when she came out the trash.
Yes.
She tells Reba, where were you? I was on the back. You're fired. And Reba
and he's just like, no, come back. I need you.
You mean I'm free? Okay. and she says, no, you're rehired. I loved it.
Where's Tony? You put him on a timeout. Oh, all right.
Yo, Brett. Oh, like that's the thing. AEW. It feels like each segment is meaningful.
Yep.
Like each thing that happens after they come out of the commercial break is something else that has meaning, and even losers get recruited.
Yep.
It's like, yo, they keep it going. And I feel like I can go an hour. I can go 45 minutes and not miss a beat with NXT. And that's the problem and the disconnect that I'm having with that show is like, I might see a good segment here, but it might be the first one, or it might be the fourth one, or it might be the end of the night, and it's just not resonating. It's really not resonating.
I like I said, I like certain stuff on NXT. I even like the context of the revolving door promo because Johnny Gargano's character right now is awesome. He's hilarious. When Keith Lee said he picked up Candice LeRae, and Candice LeRae whispered to him that this is the most action she's gotten all year, and Johnny's response was stop being weird. I fucking died laughing. I was like, he was like, I was there. That didn't happen. I just love Johnny Gargano as a heel now.
He's finally coming into. He's coming into his own. He's coming into his own.
Turning that corner. He's turning that corner. And my boy Cameron Grimes punching out the tires of Damian Priest. We need more Cameron Grimes. We need more Cameron Grimes after last week. So, yes, that was our NXT and AEW, what we thought was the better show for the week. The one final thing I will say is that, yes, like I said, the Orange Cassidy Jericho segment was the best thing on Wednesday night, honestly, like segment-wise. And that it just, in a nutshell, described Orange Cassidy's character. When he actually tries, he's one of the best guys in the company. When he doesn't try, he's still the coolest guy in the whole company. So it just perfectly got his whole character in a nutshell, and I loved it. The rest of the news, we got to other WWE news, like Miss Chrissy Love mentioned earlier. Kevin Owens decided to sit out of the WWE TV taping on Wednesday, June 17th. Actually, we found out due to this that his wife's father actually passed away due to the COVID-19 virus. So due to all the revelations that went on this week, that was the reason why he kind of made his decision to sit out. I know you're a big Kevin Owens fan. So what was your thoughts on finding this out, Mike?
Well, it's smart, especially when you have people showing up that got the virus, The second thing, I think it might have been her grandfather that died.
Oh, grandfather.
But still, either way, it's terrible. But he, this is not the first time he sat home, choosing to, so hopefully he doesn't get punished for it, because that tends to be a thing, like, Sammy losing the IC title. But Brock, I know he's the bigger star. It's not about who's the bigger star. It's about if you have two guys that are champions and one guy doesn't show up and he doesn't get punished for it, but another guy doesn't show up, he gets punished for it. That doesn't make much sense. So, I mean, hey, the man's got to do what he's got to do. He's got a family to worry about. And if they're going to be, so selfish and not care like that, then he's got to do what he's got to do.
True story. So WWE champion Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley apparently were the ones who pitched their idea for their current WWE title program, which former creative director Paul Heyman was a supporter of. But the finish at Backlash was a Vince McMahon idea. More stories are coming out of the Bruce Pritchard replacing Paul Heyman story that we broke last week on True Hill He's 78. Reveals that AJ Styles was apparently upset with Heyman following the firing of Anderson and Gallows, feeling that Paul should have fought more for their jobs prior to his move over to Smackdown. Top Guy JJ, what's your thoughts on that one?
WWE with thought. And with thought. WWE with thought. They should have thought more with firing 20% of their, 10% of their roster. Right. It's just one of those things that it just shows you how little power anybody other than Vince McMahon has. So it's like if they to fight for him, he should have fought for them. Maybe if he would have, if he did, how far would he have gotten?
Yeah,
probably not far at all.
I think AJ's just being ridiculous. Honestly, that's my only thought.
No, I wouldn't say he's ridiculous. I would just say he's an angry friend. He's being
ridiculous because he's angry at the wrong people.
Right, but he should know better. But I just call him a mad friend. He's just somebody that just lashing up. Yo, my boys got fired, Joe. Yo, whoever I can yell at that's not going to get me in trouble, that's who I'm going to yell at. Because if he yells at Vince McMahon, his ass might get fired too.
Yeah.
True. It's also true.
That's just what I get out of it. Like, it's just, yo, they are just all wrong right now in so many aspects.
So reports have come out saying that while Vince's meetings with SmackDown staff would be smooth, his Raw meetings with Paul Heyman would run longer and be more spirited. The interaction between Heyman and McMahon was described more as spirited than an argument per se. The Forgotten Sons have been pulled from WWE television following the tweet from Jackson Riker supporting Donald Trump a few weeks ago. WWE planning to run live events again as early as the end of this summer, it was last reported. AEW news, as we said earlier, Absolute Ricky Starks has signed with AEW officially after Dynamite last night. In New Japan news, they really, like I said before, they deserve a whole bunch of credit for their precautions that they have going on during the ongoing pandemic. Even their commentary is respecting the social distancing, with not all three commentators being at the desk, as I think each two commentators are in the arena and they're separated by the 6 feet, while the third commentator is remote from a different location on the screen in the middle, which is very unique. First two nights of New Japan Cup 2020 action were this week, which featured Yuji Nagata defeating Minoru Suzuki in an upset in the first round of the tournament. New Japan also announced 4 new events to their schedule, which will include fans in attendance. New Japan Road will be on Monday, July 20th at Kurgan Hall. Sergio Lord in Sagio will be Saturday, July 25th. Summer Struggle 2020 Night 1 will be on Monday, July 27th at Kurgan Hall. And Summer Struggle 2020 Night 2 will be on Friday, July 31st in Kurgan Hall. Impact Wrestling had a huge tease this week as former Impact champion, Impact World Champion EC3's music played at the end of the episode after Moose defended the TNA Championship. And in other related EC3 news, he made news with ROH this week as he cut another great promo on his social media titled "There is no honor in what we do," ending with him standing in front of the ROH logo. So what are your thoughts? What's your guys' thoughts on EC3 making news in 2 different companies during this whole pandemic going on, and really been creating a buzz on his social media with his promos? Or what you think, Mike?
Well, it's good that he's doing that because it makes people forget about that horrible career that he had in WWE.
He didn't have one, friend. I'm sorry.
I give him props. So he is part of a 5-star match. So is Lars Sullivan, unfortunately. But he did get that out of the company and a figure, and he's in one of the games, I believe. But other than that, that was a waste of time. Yes. Impact is where he belongs. That's where he had the most success. That's where he should go. I don't personally think he'd fit in Ring of Honor. He's got that Nick Aldis kind of thing going for him, which he also doesn't do it for me. But hey, I think he should go to Impact. I don't know if they're just teasing it, trying to get people to like, oh, who's it going to be? Because they've been teasing everyone that's basically got released that had a cup of coffee in Impact. So whether he actually goes to either one of these places will remain to be seen. He could end up in MLW. I mean, nobody really knows.
It's true. It's true, but I definitely agree with you. I like the buzz that he's creating for himself. ROH also reportedly planning to run empty arena shows for TV without friends. No timetable yet for when they will begin. And other wrestling news this week, a former female wrestler has accused former OTT champion David Starr of raping her and other females in the past. Due to this, David Starr has been basically cut or released from all the companies that he was working on, the independents, including Over the Top Wrestling. This led to a Twitter cancel storm as many detractors as well as former supporters coming out to reveal his past about treating women as well as other wrestlers with disrespect, including our former guest right here on True Hill Heat, Darius Carter. Back when Darius Carter had a match with Pete Dunne, unfortunately Pete Dunne got an injury, and even though him and David Starr were friends, David Starr went on Twitter and publicly defamed him and said that he should quit the business. So among other things, David Starr really got dragged this week. I know that Mike, you wanted me to kind of bring this up with this whole big storm becoming a big story the day before we're recording this. So what was your thoughts?
So as a fan of his, or was, it sucks because he was in a lot of my favorite matches last year of 2019. Him and Mercedes Martinez. I mean, here's the thing: it's terrible if he did those things. We still watch Chris Benoit matches. You know, some people do. He killed his family. If you haven't seen the David Starr Mercedes match, you should, because it is probably the best man versus woman match I've ever seen. But it's terrible, you know. It's a real shame that he did those things. He is basically gone. He's been canceled. Beyond Wrestling, which was like his home base, where they called him the ace of the company. He's gone. So it's unfortunate for everyone involved, but he should be punished. If it's a crime, he should do the time.
How about you, Miss Chrissy Love?
It's sad. I don't really know what. I guess guilty until proven innocent. I don't know. But it's looking like it's all pointing to you. Like he said, like Mark said, there's a small chance that. I don't know. It's just sad and unfortunate. If you did it, then you're a scum, and you should rot. And a good F.
You gotta do the time if you do the crime.
And sure. I noticed because of this, it opened a can of worms. I was skimming through Twitter earlier before I got on the podcast, and a lot of females are coming out about other wrestlers, like Travis Banks is getting now. Who's the guy on the NXT UK with the mask?
El Ligero.
He's getting it now, so this is going to be so it's not going to be good for a lot of people.
So we'll probably have to talk more about other people getting dragged and getting canceled via Twitter and getting exposed on the next True Hill Heat, on True Hill Heat 80. But we got to get into our final segment of the show. We worked hard and we put together between the four of us a collective list for you. It's been 1 year since the introduction of All Elite Wrestling. So many great pay-per-views, so many great episodes of Dynamite since then. We decided that for the 1 year anniversary, which just passed with Double or Nothing 2020, we will give you the top 10 best matches of AEW's first year. So we're going to start off from 10, end it off with 1. Starting off at number 10 is one of the more recent matches that has happened in AEW. As at Double or Nothing, it was Nyla Rose defending the AEW Women's Championship against Hikaru Shida in a no disqualification match. This was hard-hitting, a very fun match where Shida got the victory and became the new AEW Women's Champion. I will start with you, Chrissy. What was your thoughts on this match? This was higher up on your list than I think many of us.
I thought it was finally a good match that showed Nyla Rose off better. They didn't really give much shine to much of the women's division in AEW. I'm not sure why, but these two put on a great match, and I was happy that Nyla, gave well, she didn't give it to her, but she lost to Shida as the AEW that picked the winner. But I was overall happy between the match the story that they told in the ring from this match. That's why I had it so high up for the women. As far as it was my only women's match out of everyone, to be honest. Hasn't been that much.
Yeah, there's one more than mine, so.
I think all of us had at least one, except for Mike, had at least one women's match on their list. Sorry to bury you, but
it's okay.
Coming in at 9, we got from All Out last year in September of 2019 in Chicago. The main event, it was Chris Jericho going one-on-one with Hangman Page to decide the first ever AEW World Champion. This one was a very good matchup where Chris Jericho pulled out the victory with the Judas effect to become the first ever AEW World Champion. Top Guy JJ, this was on your list. What was your thoughts on this one?
I mean, it's the inaugural AEW championship match. I mean, you gotta show some love to the company on this one here. And they did put on a pretty good match. It obviously definitely wasn't the best match of the night. But they did put on a pretty they worked pretty good. They worked well. This definitely looked like this was their first time in the ring together, and they pulled off a pretty decent match. And it was something that I definitely remembered. And Jericho pulling out that Judas effect. It was like, oh shit, he's actually gonna stick to this, and this is something that it was like a landmark for him. It was actually pretty good, and they delivered. They delivered a pretty decent match, considering that what we had earlier in the night was amazing.
Which we'll get to. Coming in at number 8 is from AEW Revolution this year on February 29th. It was Pac, the bastard, Pac, or Pac, whichever war you want to call it. I'll go with Pac. Going one-on-one with the hottest superstar, the hottest wrestler of 2020 in his debut AEW singles matchup, Orange Cassidy. This one was two opposite characters going one-on-one in an electric crowd in Chicago for this one, as Pac got the victory thanks to the Lucha Bros taking out Best Friends on the outside. I had this on my list, and this was a late addition for me, but I just remember this match for Orange's debut and how he just has the crowd in the palm of his hand and makes it go crazy, and Pac being the perfect foil for him for his first matchup, it had to make our list. Coming in at number 7 is one of the main events from AEW Full Gear, as it was Chris Jericho defending the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against the American Nightmare Cody. This one was a brutal contest where Cody does a sunset flip right onto the ramp, busting himself open. And then finally, Jericho has him in the walls, and it is MJF that throws in the towel for his mentor, Cody, to give Chris Jericho the victory. Chrissy Love, this was on your list. What was your thoughts on this one?
Again, the young Ted DiBiase throwing the towel in for, Cody changing the match, and everyone just was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? The story that was told, the great match between Cody and Jericho. Jericho, you say Orange Cassidy is great. Jericho is at his prime, and he's 50. This man can not do anything wrong. He is amazing. Anything he does, it's just great. It's just amazing. You gotta love it.
Perfection. Coming in at number 6 is from AEW Dynamite, one of our first match from AEW Dynamite, in what I like to call the greatest match in AEW Dynamite history, as it was Kenny Omega going one-on-one with the Bastard Pac in an Iron Man match from the February 26th edition of AEW Dynamite. Top Guy JJ, this is high on your list, so we'll go to you. Omega got the victory in 2 falls to 1 after a little bit of sudden death, winning with the One-Wing Angel. Top Guy JJ, what was your thoughts?
It was wow. That was that right there. If that was kind of one of those, I was like, yo, this is what AEW Dynamite is gonna bring on a weekly basis. Damn, their bar is high as hell. and to get that it was a flat out spectacular match. And this came off this came off the heels of their first encounter.
And the first 2 encounters from All Out and
then the one
Thanksgiving edition of Dynamite.
The Thanksgiving one, and All Out is I just love the feeling that I got when Pac pulled out the victory in All Out. It was like, oh shit! He literally, and this was a great story for the course of a few months between these guys, and it culminated in a tremendous Iron Man match on TV, and it was a fantastic match, man. Nothing bad to say about it.
I do have to ask a question.
Yeah.
Has there ever been an Iron Man match that's not the Brock Lesnar Kurt Angle that's actually ended without having to go to sudden death?
The Rock and Triple H.
Yeah.
Judgment Day. when the
Yes.
Undertaker
Triple
got
H.
disqualified.
Chris Benoit versus Triple H from Monday Night Raw when Benoit was champion was another one that didn't go to sudden
Sorry
death.
to derail it. I was just thinking when you
No.
said it went to sudden death, I'm like, man, all of them go to sudden death. But
That's a fair question.
That's what happens when you speak to a bunch of wrestling nerds, man. You'll get an answer from somewhere.
that's true. That's true.
Absolutely. But this was 32 minutes of some of the best wrestling that I've seen on television, especially in the year 2020. And that's why I said AJ versus Brian from this past week's SmackDown is the best WWE TV match of 2020. This one is the best wrestling TV match of 2020. Coming in at number 5 is Kenny Omega once again. This time, no non-sanctioned, no rules, lights out matchup against Jon Moxley. The most gruesome match in AEW history. The most gruesome match you will see on wrestling pay-per-view in probably the last couple of years. This one was brutal. We had a bed of barbed wire. We had an exposed ring. We had barbed wire brooms. And in the end, it was Jon Moxley with the paradigm shift on the exposed ring wood to get the victory. We'll kick it over to you, Mike. What was your thoughts on this one?
Fucking amazing. I think they went a little overboard with the scraping of the backs with the broom because it wasn't needed. You already were using the barbed wire. You didn't have to do that, so that was a little hard to watch. And I actually liked some deathmatch wrestling, but other than that, it was awesome. Not sure the right guy won, but that's because I'm also a Kenny Omega mark on top of being a Young Bucks mark. But
well, the right guy won because the guy went on to win the AEW World Title. Be non-biased for once.
All right, fine. You got me there.
Take your favoritism away.
I can't.
That is why you are the East Coast Brandon Cutler. We appreciate your love for the Elite.
Thank you.
And another Elite member, or he actually questioned this on Dynamite this week, but he is still a part of the Elite. Coming in at number 4 is Cody, who went one-on-one with his brother Dustin Rhodes at AEW Double or Nothing. A lot of people, including the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, voted this as the 2019 match of the year. One of the most emotional matches in wrestling of the last decade, I would say. A bloody war at Double or Nothing, the first pay-per-view for AEW, and it got 5 stars from Uncle David Meltzer. This one is brutal. This one is great. It's emotional. Cody gets the victory with the crossroads in the end. Chrissy Love, what was your thoughts on this one?
The brother versus brother match of pure greatness. I know their father was smiling down watching them put on this show and on their own pay-per-view, might I say. But I definitely think it was the blood took it over to the next level, I feel. The in-ring, everything about it, like it was a bloody mess. There was blood everywhere. I think for the first pay-per-view, they had to have something of a bang show in their match, and that's what it was, and it was very, very good.
They had to have the blood and guts. Blood and guts. Coming in at number 3 is Mike's number 1. I will get that off the bat. It is the Young Bucks going up against the Lucha Bros from All Out last year in Chicago. Escalera de la Muerte, the ladder war to end all ladder wars. This had the spot of 2019 as Pentagon does a Canadian destroyer off a ladder to Matt Jackson through a table. We had Nick Jackson falling off of 2 ladders and hitting his head on one of the 2 tables he was supposed to fall through. We finally ended off with Pentagon and Phoenix doing their double team package power driver double stomp onto a ladder, and then finally climbing the ladder to win the AAA tag team titles. This one is crazy. This one is the most insane ladder match I've ever seen live. Mike, this is your number 1. So what was your thought?
I mean, Matt Jackson after the match said they might have did a little too much, and maybe, just maybe, but it was awesome. I was sitting at the edge of my seat the entire time. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe what they were doing. Mine was blown. I had hair at the time. I no longer do because of that match. I can't believe it. It was awesome. Just awesome.
Work of art, definitely worth the 5.25 stars it got from Uncle David Meltzer. Coming in at number 2 is Chrissy Love's number 1. It was from AEW Double or Nothing 2020, The Inner Circle versus The Elite, the Stadium Stampede, the cinematic match to end all cinematic matches. It was crazy. It was insane. It was a little bit of a movie meets wrestling meets a comedy show meets everything in between. It had mascots getting the Judas effect. It had a flag thrown on a 2 count. It had Northern Light suplexes going 100 yards. It had a golf cart. It had a horse run. It had a bar fight. It had literally
pool. It was a pool.
creative pool. Yeah, a pool.
Cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders. Uniform, football uniforms. It had a drowning attempt. It had different gimmicks coming out of water. It was insane. And in the end, it was Kenny Omega with the One Wing Angel to end all One Wing Angels off of 18 feet in the air through a platform to Sammy Guevara for the Elite to get the victory. Chrissy Love, why was this your number 1?
This one was my number 1 because it just had everything you just named. It was just amazing. From the horse, the pool, the cheerleader, it had cinema. It was just a movie at its finest with a wrestling ring in the middle of a football field. That's greatness. It is greatness at its finest. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. It was great. I was like, this is why we love wrestling. This is it. This is why I enjoy this stuff. This is what makes me a nerd to this. It was amazing. Like, after the street fight and they did this, I was like, oh, just throw it all. They can't get no wrong, man. Like,
yes, I will say no other match made me more happier this year in 2020 than the Stadium Stampede, for sure. Any honorable mentions you guys want to run off before we get into our number 1? I know, Chrissy Love, you loved the street fight from the May 6, 2020 AEW Dynamite with the infamous Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy golf cart running down Sammy Guevara.
It's and he's still on the damn scooter. It's great. He's singing the whole Judas. He's amazing.
I love Sammy.
I love him. I never knew I loved him until he started like coming out singing Chris Jericho's entrance music, like, and he's so off key, but it's so good. And
he doesn't know the words.
He doesn't know the words. And now he's on the damn
it's so karaoke club in New York or anywhere you go. Mike, any honorable mention?
I'm going to go with Kenny Omega, of course, versus Joey Janela from the AEW Dark. I believe it would be from the 22nd of October, but it was filmed on the 16th. I was there. Very good match. Contrasted styles, but that's why it was probably a no DQ match. And I think it's really underrated, and it's probably the best Dark match they've ever had, but that's not saying much.
100%. 100%. I got to agree with that one. Top guy JJ.
I think for me, if I had to pick one to mention, would be the unsanctioned match between Jon Moxley and Joey Janela. Like, that was a fucking brutal massacre. That shit was
the bare feet and the thumbtacks.
That shit was just like, holy shit. They still allow this type of wrestling on TV. Like, this was the freedom match for Jon Moxley. This was the match that Moxley was finally released from his shackles off his former employers.
And to think it all started because he took a cigarette out of Joey Janela's mouth. I mean, really, it's...
Absolutely. Simple ways to start rivalries. And that had the spot that my love, Tia, said that she's seen CCW events live, but seeing Joey Janela barefoot onto thumbtacks disgusted her more than anything she has seen in wrestling. I love it. So finally, we get to our number one best AEW match of their first year was from AEW Revolution, the 6-star classic, as Kenny Omega and Hangman Page defended the AEW tag team titles against their stablemates in the Elite the Young Bucks. This one is the most emotionally driven tag team matchup that I have ever seen in my life. I said right here on True Hill Heat, it was the best tag team match I have ever seen. I don't care. You could give me DIY versus the Revival. You could give me Midnight Express versus the Rock and Roll Express. Edge and Mysterio versus Benoit and Angle. It doesn't matter. This is the best. It had the storyline investment. It had months and months of little notes and little storyline bits in this one matchup that made you emotionally invested more than anything that AEW has put on, and that's why it's well deserving of a 6-star rating. Omega and Hangman get the victory after Omega just went cowboy shit crazy on both Young Bucks with a buckshot lariat to both to get the victory. 6-star classic. I was my number one as well as Top Guy JJ's number one. So what was your thoughts, Top Guy?
First of all, I have a question for my beautiful partner over here, Miss Chris. How was this number 8 for you?
Because I had other ones that I liked more. Well, first of all, don't be putting my numbers out there for anyone to know. We have one list. We have one list. We have to condense everything all into one. And
hey, I'm gonna take some heat off you. I forgot about it. Don't forget. So it wasn't even on my list until I remembered. So
he completely forgot about it.
At least it was on my list, friend. Like,
listen, man. Like Mike smokes a lot of weed, so he forgets about these things. But you know, like,
I enjoyed the match. It's just that I enjoyed others more. Like, don't be. I still had it on my list. Don't list shame me.
No, this is my classic me pick at you time.
Yeah, don't list shame me.
But, oh my God, this match had everything that you want in a wrestling match. This had spots, this had story, this had emotion, this had perfect execution, this had cliffhanger after cliffhanger. Like, how many times was this match supposed to end? Like it just gave you, it was literally the wrestling orgasm that you would look for in a tag team wrestling match. And this was it. This was grand. This is the bar for tag team wrestling, and that shit delivered more than I expected it was going to deliver.
So I gotta call out one of my good friends from one of our friendly podcasts that we know. I recently did Armchair Bookers podcast, our good friends from the Bullet Club Block Party last year, and I had a discussion on Facebook with him about Kenny Omega in AEW, and I basically rationalized the use of Kenny Omega since his time in AEW and why him in the tag team division makes sense. And the centerpiece of that whole theory is this matchup, because this match has made the AEW tag team division bigger than the world title. This match is the whole reason why the AEW tag team division is the division in AEW and not the world title division, and why we have to point more out of how much they've lacked on the women's division, because they've done the tag team division so great.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But Kenny Omega, since he's come into AEW, at Double or Nothing, he was in the main event, and he lost to the future first ever world champion. Then at All Out, he set up a future long-term feud with Pac and a work rate feud, which put on great matches at All Out, on Dynamite, and in that Iron Man match, which you mentioned earlier. Then at Full Gear, he was once again in the main event, and he lost to the next world champion. And now he's been in a 6-star classic with the Young Bucks. He's been in a great Dynamite match. One of the matches that I had on my list against the Lucha Bros right before Revolution, which was tremendous on Dynamite. He's had good matches with Super Bad Squad as well as SCU on the boat when they won the titles, as well as defending the titles against them. Like, he hasn't put on a bad match yet in AEW. People want the best bout machine when it's staring us right in the freaking face. And having him in the tag team division is helping him work with the future stars of AEW and helping them elevate them by being in the ring with the best wrestler in the world. So Kenny Omega in this matchup, kind of in a nutshell, kind of explains to me his use of him. And I feel like it's a lot better use than anybody else would have used Kenny Omega for the time that he's been with AEW.
Beautiful said.
Yes. So finally, we got to close things out on this edition of True Heel Heat. Thank you so much if you watched this long through. We had a lot to unpack with everything going on in the WWE, as well as our full list for the top 10 AEW matches. But you can also check out the rest of our lineup that's on our channel right now. The greatest pay-per-view roundtable ever, as myself, Romeo, Drunk Guy JJ, and Josh review WWE Backlash and the greatest wrestling match ever. You can also relive my live reactions of the greatest wrestling match ever, as we had our live stream for Backlash. Top Guy JJ was in the comments for that, checking it out as well. Our New Japan Cup 2020 preview on the latest J News Japan with J News and myself. I learned a lot, so if you don't know a lot about New Japan, J News is the guy to watch, because I only watch the big matches for New Japan. J News watches the Young Lions matches. He watches the New Japan dad matches. So he taught me a lot about who's in this New Japan Cup. So you guys need to watch it.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart and his lack of sleep.
Our latest Undertaker, The Last Ride, Chapter 4, The Battle Within, as well as Dark Side of the Ring Season 1 review for The Killing of Bruiser Brody are up on our YouTube channel right now. You can check out the last AE recap, Dark Power, Smackdown with the Lynches, as well as True Rewind, and new editions of Dark Power, Smackdown with the Lynches, and AE recap will be up this weekend, with True Rewind returning back to his slot on Mondays, as well as you can't miss our final Undertaker The Last Ride review. It's been a long ride, and Romeo is now getting frustrated as I've been for the past 3 years on True Heel Heat. With The Undertaker not retiring, he is getting frustrated with seeing The Undertaker change his mind from retiring to keep wrestling as much as I've been for the past 3 years. So, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Good brother, where can the fine people find you on social media or anything else they can find you on?
Well, the only place I want people to find me is probably my YouTube channel. I haven't done a review in a long time. I do cereal reviews. So it's called Martin's Cereal Reviews. You can find me there. Again, I haven't done them in a really long time. I'll go back to doing them. Anywhere else, I probably don't want you guys following me.
There you go. Abaddon follows him, but you can't. That's a true heel. That's a true heel.
Truth be told, I'm Mike Martin on Facebook. You can add me. It's fine. I don't care. I got bald head. You'll see me.
Oh my.
The East Coast branding color, as we named him on this edition of True Heel Heat. Miss Chrissy Love, where can they find you?
I am the sensation Miss Chrissy Love. You can find me on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook. Chrissy Love or Miss Chrissy and Crystal Lynch.
And Top Guy JJ.
Instagram is TrueHill_Top Guy JJ, and at Facebook I'm just Justin Johnson.
You can find the True Heels on Facebook, True Heels, TrueHeels, the group page. You can join there where you can vote for the poll on what was better between AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT to help out the Wednesday Night Warriors. You can find the True Heel Heat page right there on Facebook. It's also True Heel Heat on Twitter as well as Instagram. You can also follow Battle Club Pro on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well at XBATTLECLUBPROX. Yes, That's on the Instagram. And you can find me at TrueHill_EpicSP3. Of course, you know what to do right here on YouTube. You can like, share, and subscribe this video. Push the bell to stay notified, as always, for all the great content. And of course, follow our friends. Battle Club Pro is on YouTube. As Mike just said, he does cereal reviews. Follow him on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel, as well as our AE Recap friends. Jimmy Macaram has his channel for TV reviews, and Marcus Cash, My Battery is Dying, is his YouTube channel, where he is doing now weekly Monday Night Raw reviews for the Bruce Pritchard era. And on iTunes, SoundCloud, Anchor, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you can listen to us at True Hill Heat. And we are bringing something new. Our last announcements for this episode: we are bringing our pay-per-view roundtables to our audio versions of True Hill Heat. So not only this podcast will be to listen to, but we are going to put up our WWE Backlash review on our audio platform, so you can listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Anchor. So until True Hill Heat 80, for our special guest Mike Martin, for the princess of all the True Hills, Miss Chrissy Love, our resident True Hill alcoholic, Top Guy JJ, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been True Hill Heat 79. We are signing off until next time.